So ever fancy giving up the day job and following your dreams? Maybe even if you didn't really know what that dream was, but all of a sudden it presented it to you. Well, I've got a bit of inspiration for you. Connie, who from Bradford, ditched working in a supermarket, also has a background in management and working in Shanghai to follow being a tattoo artist, a henna tattoo artist specifically, and she's just won a national award. If you don't know what a henna tattoo is, you usually see them on beautifully decorated hands on the arms of South Asian women celebrating weddings. The artists behind the work are hugely talented, and Connie is one of those and joins us in the studio. Morning, Connie, how are you?
Good morning.
It's quite an unusual career choice, I guess, and you took quite an unusual path to end up here.
Yeah.
So just kind of sum up, if you can, how you ended up being this artist.
I'd say I left Shanghai to come back to Bradford, actually, to be closer to family. And I think it was the move to Bradford that may have sort of kick-started it, being exposed to it more. I got a job in a supermarket, having had kids and feeling a bit lost. And then I found henna one day at a ladies' event, a Chandra it's called. And I remember sitting there asking the lady, so how did you start? What did you learn? All the same things that I get asked all the time now. And then the next day I went out, tried to find some henna, not very nice henna, but I found it anyway and started having a go, and it just came really naturally. And then within a year or so, I had that many people asking me, and I was connecting with so many other professionals that it came to a point I had to decide between the day job, which was a supermarket job. It was quite good because I actually elevated up from like menial jobs up to a pharmacy job, or to go full time with this. I remember actually having 2 days of sitting there saying to my husband, should I do it? I've got this nice cushy supermarket job where I don't have to think.
Yeah.
And it's a regular income and I can just do what I want with my time off, or should I do this business that's probably going to consume my life?
But you made that choice.
Yeah.
You made that choice to go for it.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked out pretty well for you.
It's going really, really well. Yeah, really shockingly well.
So what is henna?
It's a plant. Essentially, the word henna is referring to the plant, and it's a tropical shrub which grows around the equator. And it's been used for over 5,000 years for decorating the body. So what people do is they harvest the leaves, they dry them and grind them down, and they sift them several times, 2 or 3 times, and then that becomes a little powder. And then artists like me will mix it up with water, sugar and essential oils just to help the dye release, become a bit more vibrant.
Right.
And then you apply it to the body. You can either, smear it on your hair, and your hair will be healthier and a orangey red tone, or you can put it into a tiny little cone and draw it onto the skin, and that'll stay on your skin for about 6 to 10 days.
Okay. The designs are incredibly intricate. Do they follow a certain pattern? Is there a certain rule of what you have to do?
They don't always follow a pattern. Traditionally, there are design elements that have certain connotations. So, like the paisley is, a symbol for fertility, and you've got the lotus, which is for new beginnings and things like that. But generally, it's down to the artist and their eye and what they think will work. Sometimes the design comes to you from the person you're working with, the person that you're actually putting the art on.
Yeah.
You get a vibe from them and something else completely different comes out.
So have you got a background in art then, or design? Or were you always drawing as a kid?
I did always draw as a kid. I did always do quite well in art as a kid. But then I got to my A-levels, because I grew up in Scarborough, and when I got to A-levels I thought, there's no future in art. What am I going to do in art? What job can I possibly do? And I just left it. I was quite strong in that area, and I just ignored it for a good 20 years until it found me again.
Well, we were talking about careers advisors last week and them giving advice, and I don't think there's probably that many that would say you should be a henna tattoo artist.
No.
And even if they did, as arty as you are, you probably wouldn't have maybe chosen at that point to follow it.
No, definitely not, no. I remember my careers advisor saying, well, what do you want to do? Because I got pretty good grades in school, so it was one of those situations where you could do whatever you wanted, really, and it never occurred to any career advisor really to say, what do you really love doing, what really sets you alight. They don't really ask. They sort of look at your grades, look at your strengths, And, you know, you go with that.
And tell you to do a management degree.
Yeah.
Move to Shanghai and work in business.
Which was fun.
Yeah, but it's not tattooing people. Let's get producer Sue. Let's get producer Sue in, because you're going to do a bit on her, because I want to see this, and I want to just see the process a little bit. So we'll get Sue in. Come on and get a tattoo. Sue, here we go. We'll get you a real one next week, but this is just a warm up for you now. So describe the process to me then, what you do.
So I have this cushion, which is a nice stiff cushion. I put the hand on top, and I prefer to clean the skin, so I've got a little spray. But we can do that.
A little wipe.
A little wipe. So I clean off any lotion or cream that might be sitting on the surface, because that can act as a barrier to the dye. And then here's my little henna cone.
Yeah.
And so it's like a tiny, tiny icing bag. So if you've ever iced a cake, it's a similar principle, but it's super,
super
tiny. Does
it hurt, by the way?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it does. It's really painful. You're going to give her, what kind are you going to give her? You're talking about, do you want a fertility one? Are you looking to have more kids?
Can I have a big sleeve with a naked lady?
You could do that, yeah.
Could you do a Black Panther scratching down her arm? Something like that. Some traditional old school sailor tattoo.
No, something nice, please.
I'll do a little flower.
A little flower.
It stains a reddy brown colour. You can see on my hand here.
Yeah, and it's not totally flat on the skin, is it?
It's not. It's like a mud mask that sits on top of your skin.
And this would be traditionally then for, is it South Asian women that get married?
Yes, it's predominantly in South Asian cultures for weddings. There's Sikh weddings, Islamic weddings, even Jewish weddings. Actually, quite a lot of cultures have it as part of the wedding culture.
Right, okay. And what did your family think of this? Because your family Chinese?
Yes, my family's Chinese. They're Cantonese Chinese.
Right.
From Hong Kong. They're a bit bemused by it all. I tend not to talk about it too much to them, because they get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Unless it's about, business principles and what I'm planning to do next in terms of strategy and.
And is it? I mean, you don't know, obviously I don't want to know. Well, I do want to know, but I'm not going to ask you specific figures. But you are in a position where you're making enough to live off this as a wage, are you?
Yes. It funds itself for sure.
Yeah.
And then I've only been in business really a year and a half professionally.
Wow.
So as with any business, you got that first year of just struggling and figure out what exactly you're doing. But it's all falling into place this year. So
that's fantastic.
It's going really well.
Yeah. And what's the reaction when people see you? Because I imagine most people would expect the artist to be from South Asia, would they?
Yes, they do. I do get a lot of surprised looks, like as if I'm doing a market or a stall. They think I'm there to promote it, but not to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's half the reason people remember me as well, because I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm not what they expect. So it's mostly everyone's been really, really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. So I've been distracting you here, so I'm not entirely sure whether that's usually what happens with you, if you get people pestering you whilst you're trying to do something. But how does it feel, Sue?
It actually feels quite pleasant.
Yeah.
It's like a tiny, tiny tickle, and it's nice and cold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful what Connie's done.
Would you see, the thing about this is, obviously you can wash it off in a few days. So would you?
Well, I don't want to.
No, but I'm not saying you have to, but you don't have to go through the pain or the permanency of a real tattoo either, of a full inked tattoo.
No, you don't wash it off.
No?
The mud mask, when you put the henna on, you keep it on for as long as you can. The longer you can keep it on for, the more rich the colour can get.
Right.
So for me, I leave it on overnight. I actually wrap it with old bandages and things, and I keep it on overnight so that I get a nice dark colour.
I don't know if this is deliberate, but it's looking like a Yorkshire rose.
Absolutely perfect. Well, tattooing live on the radio. Let's have a little look, see then. There, see? Oh, that's beautiful.
And we'll tweet it. We'll tweet it out.
We'll tweet it out now. That is great. We'll let you finish it. Okay. In the meantime, Connie, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
It's been fascinating to talk to you, and good luck with the career as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Connie Who there on BBC Radio Leeds. If you want a henna tattoo, then Connie is the person to talk to. So ever fancy giving up the day job and following your dreams?